Yes, my people, what are you man telling me? So now on NQ on the 1 hour chart, and we've come from this MSB. This is the week high. This is the protected low. Price should respect this low and continue to make higher highs and higher lows. We failed to bounce from this SNDR. So as I said on previous market recaps, more or less we're going to come back and tap into the unmitigated move origin, or you can even we're going to tap back into the unmitigated move origin. We set the lows of the unmitigated move origin, these lows here, and price might want to head on higher. Obviously, do we have to? Not necessarily. However, there's always a chance that that could happen. So if we're looking at things from a structural point of view, then we can see that we took out these lows, took out these lows, took out these lows, took out these lows. So now price essentially needs to take out this high, and then we can start potentially looking for longs. However, the SMA, as you guys can already see, we are what's it called, below the 200. So if we're looking for trade, we need to be above both of them, or at least a 200 before we can even get in. However, when we go down to a low time frame, we can now use this bias and this narrative that we have created to now look for potential trades. So when we go to our 5-minute chart, we can see that where have we just come from. So essentially we took out this high, we failed to take out this high, we took out this low, but this is not a protected low, because not once we ever take out the high. So how can that be a protected low? However, it's an internal low. However, we took out these lows here, so then we took out this low here, so essentially, and then we took out this low here. So essentially we are trading from this low to this high, and then to this low. This low failed to make a new lower low, and then now we have taken out this high. So when we clear out my charts and I just draw things in lines, because I think that'll make much more sense. So yeah, so we can see now that price is actually, it's flipped bullish, right? So there's always a chance that we might continue higher. Let me just go back to 5 minutes. So in terms of SMA, price is now above our SMAs. When you go down to our 1, you can see that we're hovering around the SMAs, but essentially this could have been your 1, 2, 3, where price sweeps, 4, 5, and then I'm sure there's some sort of entry that gets you in. However, SMA, so even this I wouldn't have been able to entertain. For me personally, I know other guys that do. For me, no. So let's just go back to the 5-minute, and let's just see how price turns out. So oopsie. Okay, so this was a news candle, so I didn't trade today. I didn't trade the New York session. I traded in the morning for London. I had some things to do. I checked the charts, I saw this up, and I took this out. But I didn't go forcefully looking for a trade. Today, when I saw the news that was going to play out in the evening, I just didn't bother. There was just no point. But for those of you that are too glued onto the charts, then potentially this is your 1, this is your 2, this is your 3. We clearly see 4, 5. In terms of entry confirmation, you can say that this is your last down up candle, where price at least had the 30% of this candle, the 382, and then obviously price shot up. you can say that this is SBS model 1, and obviously you can always narrow it down, or make it larger. Really up to you, but this is the only SBS that I could potentially see that could have potentially gotten you in, because we are above the SMA. Price has technically flipped. Technically, we did have a confirmed flip, so technically those protected lows. So at the time, once we took out this high, this was a protected low. So this low should get respected. But we all, well, not all of us, but for those of you that are in the Discord, you guys know when we have, zones that are right beneath us that have not been tapped, that protected low tends to be a liquidity point. So it can now be our new number 2. So yeah, if I drop my fib from this low to this high, you guys can see for yourself, price doesn't come close to tapping the 382 level. Maybe DTFX 0.3. We'll see now. Yeah, so DTFX 0.3, yes, it does tap. So maybe that's enough for you to now take the trade. For me, again, I wouldn't have taken it from the first flip, but it ended up winning anyways. If he was looking to take the trade based off SMA, based off structure, understanding that on your 1 hour time frame, we tapped into this not unmitigated, but we tapped into this move origin, where now price now potentially wants to head on higher. You could also say that price was in a expanded reversal, so you can see that the gap between the 20 and the 200, there was a huge gap. So now you might now want to start looking for longs, where price now wants to fill this expanded reversal, and then hopefully price goes back down. Remember, everyone's narrative is going to be different, everyone's bias is going to be different. As long as you have a plan put in place, you understand what you're trying to look for, you can map out a story in your head. Okay, cool, I want this, that and that to potentially happen, I need this and that to happen, and I execute. Honestly guys, like there's not much I can really say. Personally, I just want to have traded today in terms of the New York session. And then let me just close it out. And then after that, again, there wasn't much that was going on. So as I said, similar to gold, if you watch the gold recaps, you could say that this was also SBS, where this is your 1, this is your 2, this is your 3, 4, 5, and then we've come from this area supply and demand. So that might be your trade that you use to take you higher. And obviously we ended up taking out our previous higher high, where we kind of closed below. This is now my protected low. So price should respect this long, continue to make higher highs and higher lows, and then in that case you can I mean, is that higher? Okay, it's higher. So you could say this is your 1 as well, this is your 2, this is your 3 potential, and then obviously 4, 5. And then if you're looking at things from an internal point of view, what happened? We took out this low, took out this high. So now if you want to look for a trade within this area here, we're above the SMA, then you can potentially might want to wait further for price to tap back into the zone here. And you can see to our left what happens, we tap back within here, and then obviously you might have SPS as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but now you're waiting for SMAs to now get back above. Again, as long as you have narrative and you know what you're looking for, then there's no real right or wrong answer, hence why we've got stops put in place. So yeah, that's it for me today, guys. And I mean, yeah, that's it for me today, guys. Always remember that victory belongs to the most tenacious, and I'll see you lots next week. Love, my people.